Okay, so there's the setup. I've actually put the legs on round this way. They fit a bit easier. They can go the other way, but I'm not actually seeing any benefit in it. And the other thing is, if I take a front impact, which is more or less the way you usually hit something, it should protect the camera and the gimbal, in theory. I'm never too sure about these things. Don't do an impact, it's probably easier. But you can see the gimbal's all working. If I turn it upside down, the gimbal will do a hissy fit, but there we go. Oh, it's not too bad. So connected it through the balanced charger cable, and that's also running the FPV system, which is stuck on the top with little antennas sticking out the top, so it's well clear of all the props. I've just got stock props on. I would probably change them for 9450s to give a bit more lift, but I just want to have a quick test with the FPV, and then all this is going to come off and I should go and have a blast around the field, I expect. So definitely no 3D flying, obviously. So this really is the first lift-off or anything with this. So well, it holds that okay. That gimbal is rattling around a lot, but I think that's purely because of the fact of those rubber dampeners I got on it aren't the best, I don't think. I don't know where I found those ones, but I've got quite a few of them, so it's so I think we're probably going to have jello. So this is just going to prove that it works. It looks pretty smooth. Oh yeah, definitely jello. Oh, I forgot I could go check over here. Oh yeah, loads of jello. I will change those anti-dampenings because that's what's causing all the problems. But as you can see, it actually flies really nicely. And no effort. It's got some nice sized motors on it, so it's rather good. And obviously I haven't balanced props or anything like that, so it's just purely a quick test. I've already noticed that problem with the jello on it, definitely, you can see it. Whoa, yeah. I can actually feel quite a bit of jello coming through there anyway, so. But hey, the system works, and I might change the legs back round. It was just a novelty thing. Just give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, I literally took all of 2 seconds. So gimbal's back on, and I'm using these slightly tighter ones here, and they've certainly not got as much movement in them, so hopefully you can see that. I still think it's going to be a jello issue from the props. I think they are not the most efficient by any means because they work in 3D, so they're not particularly good, and they're certainly not designed to do what I'm doing with it, but that's never stopped me in the past, so I don't see why it should stop me now. The picture is lovely and clear over there, so I'm just going to give it another quick go and just see how we get on. Whoa! When I said about props, I just shattered one. Smashed it to bits. Wow, did that go some. No one injured is good. Now this is what I think is a problem with these props, is they literally rely on this bit here. This bit here is so narrow. Any impact or anything, if you don't see the crack that's appeared, and I didn't notice any cracks on them, as soon as it starts to come under load, obviously, bang, off it goes. As you saw, I mean, it just threw it out as quick as anything, and you can see it could just be a weakness in the plastic mould in there. I don't like the design of these props. That doesn't look so bad, actually. I don't think that's got as much jello, if any. There's a tiny bit on the FPV. Yeah, no, I don't think that's as bad, anywhere near as bad. It's amazing, just all to one tiny little thing. Still much better to actually have props that are properly balanced, and I haven't. These are quite difficult. Would be quite difficult to do, I think, with the shape of them and everything. But that actually seems quite fine. I just realised I've just walked away from the FPV system, which would have been really useful at this stage. Not the brightest crown in the box, as they say. Yeah, nice. Like I say, this possibly, though I hate to say these things, it usually winds up in tears, it could possibly answer a load of questions. You've got a 3D flyer, It flies full acro, it flies stabilised. You can alter loads of settings on the actual transmitter, and it could be used as a camera bird. I mean, what else could you want from a quad? It could be smaller and fit in your pocket, that's very true. But actually what it does is very nice. Very good. We like. I'd be interested to see whether that's got any warmth on it, or whether those ESCs can just handle all this extra weight. Love the way you can really kill these props as well. You do have a kill switch here as well, but actually when it's off, it's, you know, it really does, they just stop so fast on this model. Now, I can't smell anything hot. The motors aren't even nowhere near warm. That all seems to be handling pretty well. Happy with that. Okay, so this is how I converted the Air Dancer acro flying, 3D flying, super duper robust quad into a camera bird, basically, with the capability of shooting 4K, and it's really nice actually, the way it handled everything. This is what I did anyway. It's up to you how you do it, but it might just give you some ideas. I'd stuck the FPV system up on the top, and I just used a little bit of Smurf poo in there, blue tack, double-sided tape, whatever you want to use. The blue tack will come off quite easy and won't mark anything if you're a bit wussy about your quads. Velcro would hold it on as well, then you possibly wouldn't need the elastic bands. I've done it this way. I can strip everything off in seconds really, and so I'll fly shooting 4K, and then I'll come back to flying acro and playing around with it in a few seconds. So to me that's the way I do it anyway, so it might not suit everyone. It does make the quads look pretty ugly with all the strap-ons, but I'm really not too worried about that. What I'm after is the quality out of the camera or the fun out of the quad. That's just the way I fly. So I've put this on with an ordinary stick antenna there, so I can flop that down out the way when I turn it over and put it down on anything to work on the gimbal or getting into the camera area or anything. It comes down on the prop nuts, so nothing's going to damage here. That just sits just slightly proud, so that's rather good. I like that. And then when it's up, obviously you're getting maximum signal, hopefully, and it's clear of all the other electronics, so I'm hoping that would work pretty well. It worked fine for me for where I tested it anyway. The landing legs, as per normal, that I use with the gimbal and camera setup, because sometimes I need more anti-vibration in there, and also I might possibly even need to put an extra battery underneath to power it if I can't get access to the main power. So I actually find I use these on virtually every quad, even if I have to just rubber band them on. They go on basically. It could go on the normal way, so you're side on with the actual landing gear, no problem at all. That's where you want to do it. I've just happened to stuck mine on the ends basically. Like I say, it gives a bit of protection at this end. If we take an impact, invariably you're going to run into something rather than go sideways. I would have thought anyway. But I just see how I get on. I've not had any problems with it as yet, and I tend to hand catch anyway. So and they screw on no problem at all. They will fit both ways. I will stretch these and do anything with these. So a little bit of pull out and then just bolt them on. They're absolutely fine. The holes do line up really well there. So the actual power to the FPV system and to the gimbal itself, and also feeds into the camera as well, so it charges the camera as it's doing everything, and I'm running it off the standard sort of battery that comes with it, or I've got a couple of 3000 milliamp hour ones that are in I can use as well. So and it just runs off the balanced charger port, and that's still, you can still click the battery bay back in. I haven't had to cut anything. There's a little slot just in there that the cable feeds through rather nicely. I'm not going to power it up because I really don't want all this upside down and powering up, but basically you just get a cable, links down in the description as per usual. I've made it into so that it goes into two JST ones and then feeds the camera system, and I put a link to this cable that then means you can use the FPV, and also you got the 2-axis Wakira as well. I love this gimbal, though
if there's any jello on my footage and everything, I think it's probably down to my motors eventually dying on this, because this thing's been through hell and back a couple of times, and it's got the t-shirt and the it can wear the cap as well for being there. What you need to do if you're using the gimbal really is get the camera so it sits quite nicely. It will just sit where it wants. It's not stiff or anything, and it's roughly going to sit balanced. And again, whacking great big bit of blue tack Smurf poo on the end there. Crikey, you must have eaten a curry the night before this, lad. And it's sort of balanced it out quite nicely, I think. So the motors aren't working hard to get it off. If I take that off, the camera will lop down the other way. So that's the way I do it anyway. These anti-dampening ones here can make all the difference. So you can buy all different ones for them, and some work on some camera birds, some don't. It's just the way it is. You just have to play around with them, but you can sort of feel it on the actual quad itself, and also you can see it, more importantly probably, how much this is moving around. It needs a little bit of movement for the anti-dampening, but it doesn't want to be sort of really moving around too much. So that's basically the setup. Yes, I could have used, they've got out ports here as well. I did look at using those, but to be honest, the balance charger one's just easy for me. It's dead simple. I don't have to worry about anything. If you are using ports on quads, this is a little thing I do. I've got all daughters and I'm married, so this isn't my nail varnish, I can assure you. They have red nail varnish, and what I do is just mark the port, because you can't really tell when you're out and you want to plug something in. I always try and mark it with a little bit of nail varnish, because it won't come off, and it's brilliant. Just the way I do it again. So yeah, that's it. And then I've used the Yi 4K. I love these cameras, they're great. It does shoot 4K really nicely as well, so we've got that ability as well, and it shoots everything up to it as well. So yeah, that's the way I did it. Whether it suits your style, whether it's nice for what you want, I don't know. Leave it down in the comments, sort of thing, but it works for me, and it seems to do a pretty good job, so I'm happy.